during my last video, I had mentioned that Vanguard Zero was kind of leaving this, I was the right words, void, but just kind of frustration. I wanted to be playing a game that was making me happy, a game that was making me excited. While I was sitting in bed that night, I had remembered that Konami had announced a game alongside Master Duel called Cross Duel. It was a 4-player game in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! I had remembered there was a beta that I had not made it into and I was watching content on, but I don't really remember anything besides that. I don't remember any other news. I went on to Twitter and found a YouTuber that I like. It's Brad as HD. I've never really known how to pronounce his name. He had a Cross Duel guide Twitter page. Not much had been posted on this page. It did have a tweet from a couple weeks ago that Konami was going to announce something at a convention, I think. But that was about it. It was kind of dead silence. I couldn't find anything else, so I just followed the page, hit post notifications, and went to bed. The next morning, I wake up to see I had notifications from Twitter, and on my YouTube feed, people were reacting to the new live trailer for Cross Duel. Kind of weird timing. I had seen that a VPN was needed to play the game since it was only a soft launch. It was only out in Canada, the Netherlands, and one other place, I can't remember. Since there was no APK available yet in English, I thought I would just kind of wait and just kind of see maybe what other people are thinking about it. Sadly, the next day, the news of Kazuki Takahashi's death was given. I spent the rest of the day in a sort of numb-esque feeling. Here's a man who I'd never met before, but he had created something that had changed my life. I spent the morning before work reading some old manga of his, and I was reminded of his love of games as a whole. I would follow him on Twitter and stuff, and he was always sharing ideas of like new ways to play games. It wasn't just always Yu-Gi-Oh! Usually it would have like his style, which was very Yu-Gi-Oh!-esque. Some of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Memories involved these like fun ideas. I don't know how involved he was with them, but like the core of his have fun with games idea was there. Like Capsule Monsters was my favorite spinoff. The anime, the PS2 game, it was very fun. I also loved playing Dungeon Dice Monsters with my brother at my father's shitty shop table. Cross Duel was giving me this similar vibe that had made me so excited before, so I decided to give it a go early. Now, this is where the title of the video comes in. I needed a VPN. I found out there was a free version, Tunnel Bear, but after some stumbles trying to make different accounts, and I'd used up the free data I was given. So here comes the credit card. Getting the game started after a couple hours made me very stoked. I was very happy. Now, I've been playing the game for about a month now. How does it feel? The biggest note I want to make for any of this, I want it to be known that the ceiling for this game is so high. What I mean by that is I think this game has more potential than any other card game-esque thing to come out in the last few years. My favorite way to play games is with like 3 to 4 players. This is because I love the social and political aspect that only a multiplayer game can bring. I'm assuming this is why games like Among Us is so big. Commander in the card game world is my favorite way to play Magic. I think it's also the most popular way to still play Magic. Now, finally having a way to bring that aspect to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is something I've always wanted, and I imagine a lot of people too if they have made the game. Up until now, the only like multiplayer aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was 2v2 with tag duels. Now within Cross Duel, this is a option. You can do 2v2 with a computer. I do think I saw on their official Twitter that they are planning on bringing this to a competitive format, which would be sick. But the main ranked way to play the game is 1v1v1v1. I have a vision that once this game has a bigger player pool, a bigger audience, we're going to see streamers and other content creators engaging with each other in this fun and social way, something that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never really had before. Something I probably should have brought up is it fun? Yes, it's very fun. I'm even having fun just playing against strangers. There are emotes and these like 2-word phrases you can say to kind of help portray what you're trying to acknowledge on the board, like, oh, to my left, like trying to point out like the guy to the left might be doing something. You can do emotes to show your frustration. It's doesn't really work. It's like receiving a text that says LOL. You don't know if the person's actually laughing. You don't know if the person's meaning that in a, oh, that's not funny, like sarcastic way. It's dumb. The next video I want to work on is like a tips video, but for this one, I just want to mention maybe how the game is played, just so you have an idea moving forward with what I'm talking about. The game is very similar to speed duels, but it's closer to rush duels. You start with a 20 card deck. In cross duels, it has to be singleton, so no copies of cards. You have a 3v2 zone, and you start with 4,000 life points. Similar to rush duels, you have unlimited normal summons. What are other aspects of the game that make it different? The biggest one is that the cards move. It is a board. Depending on the zone you place them, they move along that track, either attacking or blocking a different opponent. When a card reaches another card or reaches an opponent directly, that is when the battle happens. Now, with just that understanding of the system, we've already broken the mold of what other card games that we have played up till now do. This will be able to bring new mechanics in that would never be able to exist before. Now, this is where my favorite aspect of the game comes in. Every time you get a new card, it will start as a normal monster. No abilities, just vanilla. But as you use materials and leveling it up, it will unlock new skills. These skills can be equipped in different decks. You can equip skills to these monsters just like you would equip a party member in an RPG. This allows for one individual card to be able to be played in multiple ways in multiple builds. While building a deck, you can select one boss monster. This boss monster will be in your opening hand in every game. Similarly to a commander, this monster allows you to build your deck around it since you know you will have it every game. One caveat is once it's destroyed, it is destroyed. There's no returning to hand unless otherwise equipped with a skill of some kind. You are allowed to select any monster as a boss. What is interesting about this is a boss monster can have 3 skills instead of just 1. This gives you a lot of variance and cool ways to build a deck around. Super rares and ultra rares will have special effects that other monsters will not have access to. For example, a rare monster will have similar skills to other rare monsters, such as piercing, sniping, or movement effects. The super rare and ultra rares will have completely unique effects that you won't see on other monsters. When you start the game, you are given a list of boss monsters to pick from, such as Dark Magician, Blue Eyes White Dragon. I chose Stardust Dragon. Once he is leveled up, his special skill acts as a reanimator effect for smaller monsters. This gives you a very specific goal in building your deck, and that is something that I am very excited about. All spell cards act as quick play spells. All trap cards can be activated the turn they're set. Effects of all cards, monsters, spells, and traps have specific timings written on them. This will determine the phase in which the effect will happen. Because of the multiplayer aspect of the game, you don't need to have the strongest deck out of the 4 players. This is because each opponent has 3 opponents to deal with. That means besides you, they have 2 other people that are also trying to beat them. This innately makes it so someone who is better at playing the game will have an easier time than someone who has a stronger deck. It's still good to have strong cards like any card game, especially one made by Konami, right? The game ends once one opponent reaches 0 life points or 8 turns have passed. Whoever has the most life points at the end of the game is declared the winner. This allows for timing of attacks and life points as a resource to be more important now. I think I'll leave it there when it comes to PvP. Like I said, I want to be making tip videos as well. I do want to talk about one other thing that is in the game, and that is raid duels. This is a 4v1 game where 4 players go up against one boss monster used by a computer. This giant monster has its own deck and its own unique skills. You are trying to win as a team by using monsters that can use raid exclusive skills. So that means there is going to be monsters who are not as good in ranked games who are going to be good in raid duels in the future, which make me really excited as well, because this gives another way to play and enjoy the game. I just can't wait for more peeps to get involved and see new ways to play a game that we have kind of all played growing up, but now in a fun and interesting way. Like I said, I think this game can grow into something amazing. It just needs to be given love and time to shine, and hopefully not left out to rot and die. If you would like to support me, you can hit up Triple Rare. We have a drop happening on the 29th. I never know how to end these. That's all I got.